Well, that plan has kind of backfired a little bit.
We have got the anchor stuck, I think, on a rock.
We've got half a carrot between us because it's the last bit of fresh food that we have on board.
So basically it lands on me once again to be stone-faced, confident. It's black out here. There's no moon tonight.
We're literally sailing into a rainbow.
We're in 7.2 knots right now. It's just ridiculous.
It's so cloudy and we just can't really see anything through the water.
So arrival didn't quite go to plan.
We're doing a quick flip the loop.
We might have actually, by fluke, made it on time.
Last time on Red Seas, we raced 2 other boats from Roroya to Makimo in French Polynesia. After sailing too fast, we had to add some miles as we zigzagged our way along the north coast of the atoll while we waited for the tide to change and allow us in through the narrow pass. We dropped the hook in this incredible spot and then went hunting on the beach for some spare pearl floats that we could use to lift our chain off the ocean floor to keep us from getting tangled in one of these millions of coral bommies. Well, we didn't get to spend as much time here as we would like to, but as always, our lives are dictated by the weather. So there are some really big winds coming through later in this week. So we've decided to sail on to the next atoll, which has a little bit more protection and should have better holding. The sandbar here was beautiful, but yeah, I did not fancy being here in these big winds that are on their way. So we've got another overnight sail and we should get there tomorrow morning.
We've been having a bit of fun figuring out all of these timings for the passes and the currents and how everything works. And it is technically sunset right now, which isn't ideal when we're going to go through a very narrow space with a high current pushing us along. However, it is supposed to be the best time of day for us to get out of this atoll. So if we don't do it now, basically we have to wait till like tomorrow at 12 o'clock or something. And that would then cause us to have a bigger and longer sail on the other side of that because the winds change obviously by then, they've picked up, so it kind of affects where we can go. Fingers crossed Indy can get us through the pass in one piece. And then we can get the sails up and then it all goes back to normal and it's just chilling out, and actually we don't even need to go very fast for this sail. So we're gonna probably put in a couple extra miles just to take up the time. All right, you gonna take us through?
No chance.
Why not?
I'm just about brave enough to motor through all the bommies, but with one engine and at sunset and slightly late for the current, I just don't feel the need for the challenge. I'll let you that one.
Yeah, throw that on me, yeah, thanks, yeah.
I will get brave enough to do one once, but I might wait until our engines are fixed first.
So basically it lands on me once again to be stone-faced, confident,
yeah,
steady hand on the tiller, which is still tied together with Dyneema, by the way. And yeah, it'll be fine. Whew, 7.8 knots at one point. Whee!
And that was me thinking that it was all kind of surface level, a lot of chop, but not really much pressure on the boat, not much current pushing us along. But 7.8.
We're still going 6.8 right now.
Woo! We be flying. Water is so strange in these passes because you get the kind of chop and the short waves and the churning, and then you get like a little whirlpool in the middle, and then suddenly it's like all dead calm. It's the weirdest thing to watch. Phew-wee!
That was fun. We're in 7.2 knots right now. It's just ridiculous. 7.4.
Well done.
Yeah, that was a bit
like,
intense.
It all seemed fine, and then you suddenly did a massive S-bend, and I was like, uh-oh.
So interesting is because there was 2 feeders coming into the stream, and when they caught the bow, it pushed the bow that way, and then the other one pushed the bow back. So it was kind of, balancing our way down to the little narrow pass, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
I was looking through the camera and suddenly the shoreline looked very, very close.
It felt very, very close. Very, very close, but thankfully we're just about out now. And then we can get the sails up and then I can go and, get my heart rate down. Maybe visit the bathroom.
So we're continuing the off-grid theme in our menu this evening and eating wahoo that we caught ourselves with breadfruit chips with a breadfruit that we picked ourselves while we were in the Marquesas. And we've got half a carrot between us because it's the last bit of fresh food that we have on board. So we've made the mistake of sailing too fast again, and we're definitely going to get there before sunrise, which is not ideal. But here is the one and only maneuver that we kind of have to be aware of. Looks like we're going to hit land.
I mean, it's weird because it's not even a maneuver, right? We just have to make it through this slightly narrower than I realized gap between two very large atolls in the dark that aren't marked.
Yeah, on the satellite image, it looks a lot closer than I thought it was.
Yeah, I reckon there's about, I don't know, 2 nautical miles between them, which sounds like a lot, but they are completely dark. Like, it's black out here. There's no moon tonight until about 5 a.m. So it's pitch black. There's nobody living on these atolls. So they're just these little donuts of rock that come out of the sea. And our imagery and imagery and charts are kind of known to be not very good around here. Most people use navionics. Navionics pretty much don't have charts for this part of the world. And this satellite imagery was taken a couple of years ago, and there's large areas that they just didn't take photos of.
Are you saying that if the atolls have moved in the last couple of years, then we're going to hit them?
Well, yeah. There was a race boat that had that problem where the chart said that there was land somewhere, but the radar image wasn't laid correctly onto the GPS. Or rather, the satellite image wasn't laid correctly on the GPS. So they were sailing where it should be water, and it was actually over here where there was actually land. So I hope it wasn't this bit. That's all I'm saying.
I'm particularly enjoying that one of the atolls we're going right next to is called Hitty. Like, who names land that? And why?
The guy who hit it.
So we've come through those 2 atolls and past the 3rd one, and now we're going to turn and kind of just go more downwind. But to slow ourselves down even more, we're going to drop the mainsail, and then we can just kind of crawl along in the current until we get to the pass in the morning. Well, that plan has kind of backfired a little bit. We have turned downwind, dropped the main, but the wind has completely died. We're seeing like 7 knots apparent, and we are only making 2.2 knots of progress over ground, which, to be honest, is mostly current. The good news is that because we left later in the day, we were aiming to get through the morning pass, which we'll probably miss, but there is another entry at like 3:30 in the afternoon, so we should definitely, fingers crossed, make that one. And so, yeah, we're not really stressing about it too much. It is just ridiculously calm out here. The sea is almost perfectly flat. There's hardly any waves. There's obviously no wind. And we are just kind of drifting along, coasting along to where we're trying to get to. So I'm just sitting here, like, bundled up in this amazing poncho that we bought in Panama. Love it. I'm drinking a peppermint tea, and I am just watching the stars. It's so calm, and there are not many nights like this when we're out sailing, so I'm just trying to enjoy it.
So it's been a pretty slow night. We've probably been going about 3 knots, Genoa only. Main's down and not really packed. But yeah, once the daylight came, we could actually see the atoll in the distance, which is really cool. And then this big heavy grey clouds just started rolling in. So now I can probably just about make out some palm trees on the atoll in the distance. Weirdly, however, even though we've gone super slow all night, we might have actually, by fluke, made it on time. We have about 3 hours to go, give or take, but this is currently saying that we'll be, well, yeah, a little bit late, but like half an hour late, which is way better than we were expecting. So yeah, when the wind died on us for the Genoa only, we thought that was going to be it. We'd have to go for the second entrance, but it looks like we might just manage the first. Pretty good.
So I've just woken up to the most exciting sight. Check this out. We're literally sailing into a rainbow. I mean, the rainbow part is cool, but arriving in the rain is kind of not desirable. I'm going to have to go out on deck and get soggy.
It's all right for you. I've been standing here getting soggy for the last 5 hours or something stupid.
Oh no, today. I had a perfect night.
Yeah, you did. It's been rainy, it's been windy, 30 plus knots.
Exciting.
We've almost hit the side of the atoll. And I realised that, but he didn't hit the side of the atoll.
Oh, well done. Good for paying attention.
And I would say we've arrived pretty much bang on time, maybe slightly early, which is unusual for us.
Yeah, definitely not expected at several points over the evening.
Yeah, it makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like being early for things. What do we do now? This might be the inaugural Superman pants on camera. I just realised this.
Well, I'd been filming close in not to show them, but you're going for it now. These are the special nighttime cozy wear.
Nothing wrong with my Superman pants.
They're like little fleecy trousers. They're so cute.
I've had these for years, and you laughed at me when I said we should bring these with us. We brought them out to Indioko, and you were like, we don't need cold weather gear.
Yes, I did not bring mine, and absolutely regretting that now.
Harry Potter Superman pants. You didn't bring your Harry Potter pants. I brought my great Superman. And they work wonderfully.
Yeah, I think we've acclimatized a little bit too well. We're definitely feeling the winter chill these days in the South Pacific at like 32 degrees Celsius.
It's not 32, it's 27 when it's a warm day.
Oh, 27,
Celsius.
Yeah.
Which I think we worked out was like 92 Fahrenheit.
82 maybe. 82, I think. So yeah, that's cold.
I think Fahrenheit's weird, so it'll be like 16. How does Fahrenheit work? You divide by 3 or something? No, you times it by 3 and add 12.
48, I don't know. It's not linear.
Why can't they just do this simple thing? Guys, 0 frozen, 100 boiling. That's all you need to know, right?
Sort yourselves out. So I don't want to jinx it, but we may have timed this absolutely bang on because the rain is actually easing up. There's a tiny little blue patch of sky right above us. And as we approach the pass, it is looking pretty calm. So maybe through all of our bad planning and failings overnight, we might have just lucked out on this one. Ready?
Yes, absolutely, my darling.
So far, so good. It's just going to be odd kind of going through the lagoon when it's so cloudy and we just can't really see anything through the water. So we're going to be totally relying on our charts and satellite imagery, which is not ideal, but when has that ever stopped us before? All our tide charts seem pretty accurate because we're getting about 1 knot of current coming out, so we're fighting against it, which is good because that means that we have the most amount of control with the water going past our rudders. So yeah, so far so good. Looks straightforward, this one.
Pretty simple. It's nice and wide, this one, and pretty deep. It's about 20 meters deep, so we're mitigating a bit more current than I expected on the nose, but just means we go through it slowly. You know?
Yeah, all right.
The waves aren't too bad. They're mostly outside, so
yeah.
Now we can just sort of plod our way along.
Plod our way like what we've been doing all night.
Pretty much.
So we got almost all the way through the pass and thought we were doing fine, and then suddenly the current caught us, and because we've only got 1 engine on our starboard side, it was pushing us off to port, and we just couldn't get enough momentum to pull us back around. So we're doing a quick flip the loop. We're going all the way around in a full circle, and hopefully when we come back to the direction that we want to go, we can hold our line a little bit better this time. But it's quite disconcerting when suddenly the boat is moving in a direction that you're not making it go. I did wonder if we would have to go all the way back out the pass and try again, but this seems to be working.
Okay, so arrival didn't quite go to plan. Hasn't quite gone to plan. We basically ended up fighting a 2, 3, 4 knot current the entire way here, which wasn't a lot of fun. Dropped anchor on what looked like a nice big sandy patch, and we have got the anchor stuck, I think, on a rock, maybe a coral bommy. So Brioni's just jumped in to go find out what's going on, and then, yeah, then we have to figure out how to free it.
It freed itself. We're free, we're currently drifting.
Okay, back to the boat. Turn up for the Bix. The anchor has just freed itself, so now we have to panic, race, and sort that out somehow. Yay! Nothing like a bad plan. That feels very stuck on another rock. All right, here's hoping. Brioni did say there was another bommy coming up, so hopefully we haven't just jammed the anchor on that one instead.
I'm on board.
Cool.
Forward another bommy.
Yep.
Just go forward until port.
Forward and port. All right. I'm going forward in port already. We're usually pretty good at not getting stuck with the anchor, but typical. It only ever happens when you're really tired after a long passage, I think. Do a pirouette, go back in. Same spot? Same spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think once the anchor's set and we are close to our chain, I think we'll be back bridle on this time, because I think that will let the chain sit at a lower angle when we're trying to set it.
Sure. Bri, the depth of the bommies involved. When you were down there, it was all good. Like the one we were on top of, we wouldn't have hit or anything like that. Cool. How it goes. We've already managed to hook the anchor once and it dragged massively. So yeah, so we'll just get it forward. But I got the camera on, so I'm seeing the sand now, so I should be all right. Okay, total 25 meters of chain, so put the bridle on at 15, please. 15. Well done, babe. Doing good. Yeah, we'll get you warmed up. It looks pretty deep, yeah. All of them look, on the camera, they all look like they're this deep, like, ah! We dropped the anchor and then it was like, it was holding, then it just drug like 6 meters and then went bang! Oh, we just caught on a rock. It's been a long day. Okay. Take 2 or 3 or 4, it's hard to count now. Either way, the anchor is dug into sand.
I think we're fine. I'm just cold.
Freezing to death. I'm cold and I haven't been in the water yet.
I know, I was like moaning about how cold it was the whole way over, and then I was like, oh, now I'm gonna get in the water. That's even worse.
It's probably warmer in the water anyway.
Hot chocolate time!
Hot chocolate time!
I am so glad that we came to this atoll this week for these bigger winds. It was definitely the right call. We have been sitting here for about 3 days with 40-knot winds sustained. It has been absolutely wild. We trust our anchor. That was one of the first upgrades that we did to Indy because we knew that we were going to live at anchor most of the time and we wanted to have faith in it and not be worrying the whole time. And so far it has proven to be absolutely the right decision. But it doesn't make it any less terrifying when you're surrounded by all of these shallow bommies. So we have just been like watching out of the windows, keeping an eye on everything. And yeah, so far it has been fine. But now that the winds are dropping, we are starting to swing around a little bit and we're getting a little bit close to some very, very shallow spots. So we're going to throw a stern anchor and hopefully just keep ourselves in one position and not run aground. So the plan is we load everything into the dinghy, we tie like a bridle off our cleats at the back of the boat, and then we just dinghy out into the shallows to drop the anchor where we want, and then we can sort of pull up the slack. That's the plan. At least it is like super shallow here, so we'll be able to see the anchor the whole time and keep an eye on things, and if we need to make any adjustments, it shouldn't be too much of a hassle to get it to lift it back up again. When we last stern anchored, I think we were in Nukuhiva and we were in like 10 to 12 meters of water and you couldn't see the bottom. So yeah, that like added an extra layer of complexity. This should be simpler.
Basically, we keep making up a fake bridle, but we do it using just bowlines in dock rope.
Yeah, it's really not great.
And then we just marry up the 2 Y parts of the bridle together, and then we just tie the anchor rope onto that. It works. Funny enough, this came up in a Facebook group just the other day. Someone was asking, how do you do stern anchor on a cat? And I had the audacity to suggest we knew what we were doing.
I was going to say that was quite brave to ask us, but no, they weren't. We were just
asking.
And then we have a final line just tied onto the anchor, which we're going to put one of our floats on so that if suddenly we don't anchor in 3 meters of water and we're in 20 meters of water and suddenly the water gets really unclear, then we can still find the anchor because we can see a float for where it is. Less important here, but very, very necessary other places we've been with like green.
What it is handy though is because it's on this tie point here, if the anchor needs lifting out, which we'll have to do at some point, we can actually pull here and it kind of swings the anchor out the sand.
Yeah, that's true. It does make lifting easier, not just for finding it, but actual retrieval process. Do you think they planned that?
No. Well, yes, on the anchor front, just not on our front.
Okay.
We need a smaller anchor.
Beautifully done. Good job.
All right. Anchor in, now we just have to set the bridle, right?
Yeah. Ready for this superhuman display of strength.
Brioni is now going to drag 14, 21 tons of boat.
I mean, the bridle's basically here right at the back of the boat already.
Oh, you're getting easy.
It's because I'm so strong. That do?
I guess so. That puts our bridle right there. And we can draw up the slack on the other side, and then hopefully we'll just square up to our stern anchor without it dragging too much. And then we won't go and hit the horrible coral mummy that's just over there. Looking all scary and intimidating. To be honest with you, that one looks way more intimidating than low tide. The tide is going back up now, so there's far less churning whitewater on top of that rock. But either way, when we're starting to swim towards it, it just felt a bit dicey. So it's quite nice to have this set up. If nothing else, it means that things like Starlink are going to be more reliable for a while because we're going to not be swinging around.
And I think we're all set. So yeah, tick, job done for today. We can now actually stop and enjoy this place. I mean, look at the colours here. It's ridiculous.